Hello everyone and welcome to this year's first video tutorial. Today I will be doing a short video on a game that was played in 2004 when Grandmaster Hu Ronghua lost to Master Li Qun. It was one of the games that was played in the A-League. So without further ado, we shall start the game. Grandmaster Hu Ronghua was red and I don't think he needs any introduction. And Master Li Qun is a young and upcoming player from representing Jiangsu. Grandmaster Hu Ronghua started with the pawn opening, and the young master countered with the same thing. And in this match, the Grandmaster started off by developing his left chariot as a ranked chariot. Now, so far so good. This board was found and commentated by Grandmaster Xiangqi, and he felt that this move was rather uncommon. Usually e3 plus 5 would be played, and black chose to defend with the single horse defense. Another way of playing this position would be to play r2 plus 6. So if r2 plus 6 were played, this would be what it would look like. So if black tried to trade chariots, red could simply play r2 equals to 3, and red could continue to attack with r6 plus 6 to move the chariot over here, or simply try to trade cannons with h7 plus 8. So either way, black's horse will be in trouble, and red will still have a nice advantage going on. So in the game, the Grandmaster chose to play r2 plus 4, and black traded material as planned. And black did not want to trade chariots, and the reason for doing so is because he wanted to keep the balance of the pieces on both flanks. But Grandmaster Xiangqi felt that this move, although it is a very commonly used tactic, it did not do much for black in this situation. Now with r2 equals to 6, black will be threatening to capture the advisor over here. But instead, it would not do much, and black could have simply traded chariots at this point in time. So black would defend with a6 plus 5. And red was very aggressive. And so far the fight has been on the riverbank. And after trading chariots, black would have a nice defensive formation going on, and he could have been satisfied with this situation. However, one of the problems that black had was that the chariot was not able to do much in the game. So that was why black played r plus 7 to try to limit the move of the red horses. And in this way, black could continue with r9 plus 4, and this was quite a good idea in black's case. Other than playing this move, h7 plus 8 would also be a good option, and black would still have a nice game going to the mid game. Check. So as can be seen, black started becoming aggressive, and with this move, the cannon would now be attacking the black chariot. And both chariots were traded at this point in the game. Now at this point in time, the material was still the same, but it would become a chariotless mid-game situation. Black would have the extra pawn, would have a slight advantage, but at this point in time, Red showed his aggressiveness with IA plus 5. Now this move was quite a good move because it would control and prevent the black elephant from moving back or advancing to the central file. So this showed the spectacular skills of the Grandmaster. We shall appreciate more of this move as we go on into the game. Okay. And as can be seen, Red's previous c1 equals to 3 was an intermediate move that allowed Red to gain a little bit of tempo. And although Red was one pawn down, he had managed to concentrate his pieces on the central file, and the red cannon on the 8th file was still a major threat to black, because once the presence of the cannon here would prevent black from retreating his horse. So because black was prevented from doing so, he would not have a very stable defensive formation. And now, why did black retreat his cannon? This was to prevent red from playing h5 plus 7, and it was also an attempt by black to preserve the complexity of the situation on the board, so that there would still be other chances for black to continue with. However, Grandmaster Xiangqi felt that this move, although red did not have any obvious attack going on now, the positioning of his pieces was excellent. So playing c9 minus 1 would not be so good as playing h2 plus 4. And one of the advantages of playing h2 plus 4 would be that black would not be able to threaten to trade away the red's central cannon, which would be the main engine of red's attack at this moment. Black had to play k5 equals to 6 to move his king to safety. Now if black tried to play h2 plus 1, red would retreat his cannon c7 minus 1. So and again, because black could not move his elephant back to the central file, red could use it as a cannon mount to attack black's horse and forcing it to retreat. And again, black would gain some momentum with this check, and still continue to attack the black horse. And at this point in time, the elephant would now not be able to move to the edge file. Oops, sorry. And red would continue to attack his attack, forcing the black horse to retreat. Otherwise, red would be threatening to checkmate with the elbow horse. And again, as can be seen, the black cannon was trapped in this red file. So by offering a trade-off horses which black cannot accept, or red would simply checkmate with h8 plus 7, black started to build more momentum into his attack. And as can be seen, the Grandmaster showed his prowess in the mid-game. So even though there were no chariots left on the board, but red managed to keep the pace of his attack at a very high level. And however, this move was not a good move according to Grandmaster Zhao Xinxin. Perhaps a better move would be h8 plus 7 for the check. This move was not as good as playing h8 plus 7 for the elbow horse check. Grandmaster Zhao Xinxin suggested the following moves. With this check, black would be forced to move the king out, and red could continue to attack by advancing the horse on the riverbank to this position. Now this would be a very threatening move, because the horse would now be threatening to attack both the horse and the cannon at this point. Now, as the black cannon was protected by this horse, red could consider to move c8 minus 2 on the next move, and thus gain material. So because of this threat, black would have to move his cannon to safety. And if black does make this move, red could continue to attack the horse as planned and force black to move his horse across the river, threatening to trade material. And red could continue to attack the horse and capture the advisor at this point in time. And because of the presence of the cannon on the pawn rank at this point in time, red would be threatening to checkmate with c8 equals to 4, and this would force black to move his king. And as can be seen, although black would have more pawns, half of his defense would have been obliterated, and the positioning of his horses and cannon were excellent. Red could continue with many other modes of attack and still be threatening to capture the black cannon at this point in time. So red will have a huge advantage. So that was why Grandmaster Zhao Xinxin felt that c4 equals to 7 was not a good move, and h8 plus 7 for the elbow horse check would have been much better. And since red did not make this aggressive move, black was allowed to finally retreat his elephant for defense, and at this point in time, black's defense will now be more consolidated. And red will continue to attack the elephant on the bottom rank, forcing it to move to the elephant to the edge file. And finally, red decided to go ahead with the elbow horse attack. In the match, black decided to defend with e1 minus 3 to retreat his elephant to safety. However, Grandmaster Zhao Xinxin felt that this was a wasted chance, because at this point in time, a better move would have been p5 plus 1. Now, if red tried to attack the elephant, black could simply sacrifice his elephant and still have an attack going on. At this point in time, the presence of the pawn at this very favorable position will be much better for black, as it will allow black to have a very powerful attack going on. Can continue with c6 equals to 7, or traversing the cannon over here, and amongst many other options for attack. So this was a wasted chance by black at this point in time. Perhaps it was because red had just been attacking so aggressively, and black knew that he was facing one of the greatest players in Xiangqi in all time. So perhaps the psych he had not made any adjustments to his psych, so this was the result. And red consolidated his defense, black retreated his horse, and red continued to attack with h9 plus 8. Black continued to defend, and this will be another turning point in the game. for the past few rounds, black chose a defensive approach to the game, and red's attack was quickly running out of steam. So at this point in time, red was trying to force his way, or force a win in this situation. If black had chose to go for a draw, h7 minus 6 would have been to trade material, would have resulted in a draw. But forcing an attack with p9 plus 1 was a little bit too brash, and it showed that the Grandmaster was intent on winning, but he will have to pay consequences for this. So this will be another turning point in the match. Again, black should have considered trading horses with h7 minus 6. Now black, the tides of the the momentum of the game had turned now into black's favor. So by retreating e1 minus 3, the cannon would not be able to attack the bottom rank anymore, and the black cannon will now be attacking the pawn that has just crossed the river. So red had used up 2 moves to push his pawn across the river, and red would now be in a dilemma on how to continue his match. So this will be a turning point in the game. And as we can see, after playing e3 minus 1, the red horse could now not move here, or it would be a trade of material, and the pawn advantage that black would have will become very significant. Now black, sensing that the game had turned into his favor, black started his attack. So because the red pawn did not have any good place to move, red sacrificed his pawn or traded his pawn for an elephant. So red did not have any pawns left at this point in time, but although he was 1 elephant down, his defense was impregnable at this point. Now, one of the biggest problems that red had at this point in time was the horse at the bot corner, and perhaps it was at this point in time that red finally discovered that the situation had turned into black's favor. So at this point in time, red decided to try for a draw. Unfortunately, over the past few moves, black had built up a significant advantage, and the better positioning of the black pieces at this point in time were too much for red to handle. Now at this point in time, black decided to attack. However, compared with h6 plus 4 and h6 plus 5 and h4 plus 5, h4 plus 5 would have been a better move, as the red horse would be prevented from moving from retreating h8 minus 7 at this point. So at this point in time, a better move would have been h4 plus 5, but momentum was on black's side, and the positioning and the material advantage would become significant and allow black to go for a winning position. So because h6 plus 5 was played, red would be able to retreat his horse to try to salvage the situation. Black had to move the cannon away and tried to attempt a checkmate. and perhaps black's attack was too much for red, and red made a mistake with this move with h6 minus 4. A better move would have been a5 plus 6 to defend. So because this move was made, red saw the chance. Black saw the opening in red's defense and decided to attack with p5 plus 1, h4 plus 3 to pin the black cannon, and black moved his king back to safety, although this is usually not done when both cannons are ready to attack the flank. And at this point in time, black delivered the final blow, because now black would be threatening. This would be a check, and black would be threatening to capture the red elephant. So red decided to to surrender the game. At this point in time, it would not be okay for black to make this to red to move his king. Check. Sorry, my bad. Double check. Checkmate. So that was why red surrendered after black made this move. Okay, so you could see that red started off the game with a nice advantage going to mid game, but he was too intent on attacking and neglected the possibility of a counter attack by black. Black, after being patient and able to defuse all of red's attack, black continued to mount a counter attack of his own and was able to achieve the final victory. So the Grandmaster, perhaps he was getting on in his years. He was 64, 65 years old when he played the game, but he still showed that he had the skills, but perhaps his stamina was not as good. So this was the first video of the year, and I still have a terrible cold, but I hope that all viewers of my video will be able to start the new year with a nice start and have a good health. And I hope that your Xiangqi improves by at least 2 moves in terms of initiative this year. Thank you, and if you like my channel, please subscribe. Thank you.